whispered madness to her child, the Anti-Monitor, driving him towards his revenge on his brother, the Monitor. A crisis on infant Earths is what he decided to grant, but her children were failures, incapable of ruling her lands.
What's up, guys? It's me, Theromax, and I've been a little bit behind on a lot of the stuff I've been doing, in all honesty, recently, but I'm happy to finally catch back up with actually last month's episode, or a chapter of Green Lanterns, and it's honestly kind of interesting. We have a few different things that's happening here, and we kind of pick up with Joe Moline, and or we kind of pick up with John Stewart specifically in I'm not sure whether it's a flashback or whether it's a glimpse into the future. And the reason for that is John is talking to Ganthet. Ganthet is obviously already killed due to the events of Infinite Frontier. So how exactly could John be talking to Ganthet, I guess, is the big question that everyone has. And the last thing he says is like, I can't erase your ascension, but I can hide. And then the dream or prediction or whatever it is, premonition, whatever it is, that stops. But the weird thing here is Hal's at this point in time, Hal, he literally refers to Hal calling himself Parallax. That's why I'm under the assumption that this is some sort of glimpse into the past potentially. But John awakes. He's still on this planet with all these different guys who are all these different slavers who are essentially trying to take in all the people who managed to take him in. And it's not going so hot because, yeah, he's just a dude now. He has no Green Lantern ring, in case everyone forgets, like, kind of where we're at. But he winds up getting found by all these guys, and they want his ring, which is weird because they specifically know that he is a lantern. And apparently John has been working on a blueprint this entire time for like a weapon, but it turns out it's just like a small mini lightsaber. It's like a Yoda lightsaber, man. But he winds up thrashing a bunch of these different guys, manages to beat them up, and then once he manages to cut up these guys, slash these guys, and then turn their own weapons against them, he flies up to the ship that seems to be powering everything. So rolling up onto the ship, obviously they have all these slave cells. They're just going to take in the entire populace. Like, it's pretty straightforward stuff. But the guy running the operation up in the ship essentially lets John know that we're not necessarily here. Like, this is the people we're capturing as slaves. That's literally just a bonus. We're actually here for you. And as a matter of fact, John just shoots the guy and then walks into the next room and is very upset with what he sees, but he doesn't have time to complain. Instead, he deactivates all the weaponry to all of the slavers and essentially says these people are going to beat you to death. And so the people go to beating them to death. Very understandably so. However, once they manage to win their little battle, we return back up to John, what he saw up there inside that ship, and it's the head of one of his fellow Green Lanterns, as well as over 300 rings that these guys had collected. They are literally collecting bounties on all of the Green Lanterns. But who could possibly be asking for bounties on the Green Lanterns? Good question. So turning to the other side of things with Joe Moline, she's essentially dealing with the aftermath of everything. And everything that like all the lanterns who are either dead because, I mean, they were in space or terrorists found or whatever the case is, or they're just missing. And there's a lot of lanterns on this list. They even make reference to Kyle Rayner. It's still missing at this point in time. But whenever the central power battery detonated, it actually blew up part of the science cells. A lot of things are connected to the central power battery, and using it as a power source. And that includes the science cells. And a lot of the crazy shit from the science cells, which is where all the Green Lanterns keep all of their prisoners, all the most dangerous prisoners in the universe, they're breaking free. Not everyone, but a lot of them. And so, in unison with other superhero teams or forces from across the universe, as well as Simon Baz, they're trying to maintain everything going on. Things are actually so bad, in fact, that they had to conscript Kelly Kutella into the fold and actually treat her like a Green Lantern because, I mean, there's no one left, really, in the universe. Things are pretty rough for the Lanterns. They fly off and they go and see the leader of the Kaluan delegation. She's essentially been doing research into what's going on with the Guardians of the Universe because ever since the central power battery exploded, we haven't necessarily figured out what's going on with them. but it's pretty messed up. She suspects they're actually already dead. Apparently, the central power battery wasn't necessarily destroyed or like blown up. It was apparently deconstructed in a way specifically that almost seems as if it was targeted. So we're essentially leaving the realm of this was an accident or a natural phenomena that happened. Somebody intentionally wanted this to happen. The Guardians specifically have been weaved into that explosion. And in the prior story, the Guardians specifically said that they were beings of pure energy. And whenever the central power battery detonated, it essentially spread them everywhere. And so the Guardians are essentially not 100% confirmed dead. They're at least indisposed of for the time being. The first logical question Joe Molina asks, well, if you feel like this is intentional, who in the hell do you think would be able to do something, pull off a scheme to this caliber? And of course she looks at him and be like, bro, who else? Fucking Sinestro, of course. He's most likely the sole person responsible. But we have all these different foes, and we see a bunch of classic foes from the Lanterns, which is super interesting. Of course, we have Sinestro, Atrocitus, Trollers. I want to say some of the Blue Beetles people, what the hell, the Reach. And then, of course, the magic users we saw attack the planet earlier. It took 1 second of Kelly Quintella hearing that it was Sinestro's fault to freak the hell out and be like, I'm gonna go beat the shit out of Sinestro. So she flies off to Sinestro's home planet in order to deal with him. This chapter was a very interesting chapter. There was a lot of things I'm just waiting and waiting for the plot to build, I think, more so than anything. But it's going to be really interesting to watch Kelly Quintella as well as Joe Molina interact with the Sinestro Corps, because I don't think they've ever done that, let alone Sinestro specifically. And I'm super pumped to see really what this next chapter will have to offer. And I'm super pumped for you guys because it's actually out and I should be covering it soon, so get ready. That being said,
What'll happen next time on the exciting adventures of Green Lantern Z?